All right, everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, this afternoon, wherever you're calling in from. I can see that we've got a number of folks here from all over the world. We've got some folks from the US, some people from the UK, Greater Europe. Welcome. We're so excited to have you. My name is Rebecca Hunter. I'm the VP of Alliances here at Advanced Communities, and I'll be your chair for the webinar this afternoon, this morning, wherever you're calling in from. I do see a quick little question from Ambra in the Q&A. We're having a little trouble with our chat this morning, our chat feature in Zoom. So if you don't mind, please use the Q&A as a chat feature or as a question feature during this webinar. We'll be sure to keep that monitored. Ambra, I see that you won't be able to attend until the end. That's totally okay. It will absolutely be recorded, and we will send the recording to the participants in the call and also for those who couldn't attend today. All right, so I apologize. I've got a bit of a cold. I've been traveling, so sorry for the funny voice here, but let's go ahead and jump to our next slide, Julia, and we will walk through sort of our agenda for the afternoon here. All right, so I want to give us a little bit of a background on Advanced Communities, talk about a few of our nonprofit clients, and then most importantly, we're here to talk about UNICEF and the Ukrainian Professional Development Team and the sort of partnership that Advanced Communities had with them, the challenges that they were facing, and how we as a partnership helped them to overcome those challenges. We're also going to hear from our lovely Maryna, who has joined us from the Ukrainian Professional Development Team, and also Anastasiia, who is our project manager for the UNICEF and UPD project on the Advanced Communities team. So after that story, we're also going to talk about some statistics. What are the numbers behind this initiative? And then we'll stop at the end for a bit of a Q&A. If you have any questions during the webinar, please post them into the Q&A. I believe Anastasiia might be monitoring that Q&A for us. And one of us will pick it up if she's not able to. So we'd love to be communicative during the call. Julia, would you mind going to the next slide, please? All right, guys. So at Advanced Communities, we are a leading Salesforce partner. We're dedicated to sort of crafting these innovative solutions that elevate the capabilities of the Salesforce platform. And our focus is really on Experience Cloud, formerly known as Community Cloud, hence our name. Our commitment revolves around delivering cutting-edge community and collaboration tools, which allow organizations to fully harness the potential of their Salesforce investments. And with our extensive expertise in developing these custom applications and integrations, we actually offer tailored solutions that address unique business needs. So whether that's creating something like an engaging online community or optimizing customer experiences, or even streamlining internal communication, we stand at the forefront of leveraging Salesforce to drive your business success. Our focus on user-friendly designs and seamless integrations empowers you to foster meaningful connections and achieve unparalleled efficiency within the Salesforce ecosystem. We are so excited to be here with you today. We've got 75-ish colleagues that power our team. We've got 12 languages spoken. And if it's not apparent with your panel today, we actually have a 55% women to men split on our team. We've got a 35% year-on-year growth, 50,000 App Exchange downloads, and a really high CSAT score for customer success on the App Exchange. We're looking at a 4.9 out of 5. I'd also like to skip to the next slide, Ms. Julia, and we are going to look at the AC team at a glance. So as I mentioned, I'm Rebecca Hunter. I'm our VP of Alliances and our webinar chair. I'm so excited to be here and to have this amazing team around me. We have a number of key members of our AC team that sort of drive our success. The first is, of course, our founder and CEO, Stas Dunayev. Through his leadership, we've really been instrumental in shaping these innovative solutions and sort of this forward-thinking approach that really defines Advanced Communities as a company. We also have Tom Fertney, who is our managing director of our US practice. And Tom brings a wealth of knowledge to our team. He drives really strong collaboration to meet the unique needs of our clients, particularly in the US. We also have Paul Jackson, our nonprofit practice director. Paul has a load of experience and, most importantly, I think, an expertise and passion for the nonprofit sector. And he's been invaluable in creating and tailoring these solutions that have positive impacts. And together, we are just a dynamic team that's committed to sort of pushing the boundaries of what's possible with Salesforce. And so we're excited today to sort of share these insights and innovations with you that can transform the way that you leverage the Salesforce platform. So let's dig in. Next slide, please. Before we jump into our focus on UNICEF, I'd like to highlight a couple of the incredible products or impacts, that Advanced Communities has had on several of our renowned nonprofits. And these organizations have really embraced our tailored solutions to drive their missions forward. So let's take a moment and just recognize a few of them. The first would be Greenpeace. So Greenpeace embodies a commitment to environmental advocacy. And together we've worked to enhance their engagement and their outreach, and that really enables them to make an even greater impact on the global stage. Another example is Bond UK. They've strengthened the capabilities of this sort of influential network of NGOs. And we're really proud to support their endeavors in promoting sustainable development and tackling global challenges. The last couple here, we've got the International Security Forum, and they actually rely on Advanced Communities to bolster their efforts in fostering international dialogue and cooperations on security issues. We're also very proud to work with the American Association for Cancer Research. So just a few names there. Next slide, please. So the product that we're going to be talking about today and sort of the solution and story is around UNICEF Ukraine and the Ukrainian professional development team. And before working with us, they were managing their events on spreadsheets. Think printed out Excel sheets, using manual paper documentation. They didn't have connection with CRM to sort of validate their registrations. They weren't able to reach out to attendees via marketing efforts. They weren't able to reach out to those who maybe hadn't engaged with an invitation, for example, and they had no central information about all of their events. So everything was very ad hoc and very manual, and it was hard to get the word out about the events that were happening that were all very important, particularly during the Ukrainian crisis. Next slide, please. So when the war started in Ukraine, we noticed that some cities really faced some intense shelling. And I'm sure as everyone was watching the news, they were seeing daily these reports of intense shelling in major cities and people using metro stations as shelters. And so a large number of people of all ages, really including children, sought refuge within the metro stations as a means of safety. And in fact, I remember I joined the Advanced Communities team not long before the initial crisis occurred. And we were receiving Slack messages from our team, who, by the way, is about 85% Ukrainian. So out of the 75 colleagues that we have here at Advanced Communities, about 85% of them, including our CEO, are Ukrainian, and at the time were in Ukraine. So we were, of course, very worried about them. Several of them we actually helped to relocate if that was something they were interested in doing, but many of them were very proud and wanted to stay. And so, of course, we supported those initiatives as well. But we were getting Slack messages in the middle of the night saying, I'm safe, I'm in a metro station, I'm safe, I'm in a bomb shelter. And it was really heart-wrenching. And it meant a lot to us to be able to do something about it. And so this partnership with UNICEF and the Ukrainian professional development team was a no-brainer for our team. And I remember in early conversations talking with Maryna and with Anastasiia and of course with Julia and other members of our team, if you think about having to take shelter in a metro station and you think about looking around you in the middle of the night and seeing children, I had this image of being on a church pew when I was a little girl with my grandmother, who would, when I was bored out of my mind, would give me a pen and a little piece of paper and maybe a half a stick of gum, to keep me busy and my mind busy during the service. And of course, that's a much gentler example than what these individuals were facing. But we think of these children being in the metro station and needing some sort of relief from what was going on. And so I just imagine parents and grandparents and neighbors and friends trying to offer some sort of solace to these children in that way. And that is how the idea for Spill No Meeting Points emerged. There was this need to sort of engage children in activities to distract them from the fear and the emotional pressure that they were experiencing. And so UNICEF and the Ukrainian professional development team had previously collaborated on other projects. And so in such a challenging time, they actually decided to join forces again and create this impactive initiative. Next slide, please, Julia. Okay, so with this sort of pivotal initiative that sort of embodies, I think, the intersection of technology and compassion and impact, our Spill No Meeting Points project represents this profound commitment to the well-being of children affected by the stressors of war. And I want to give you a bit of a project overview. So at the core of this project is, of course, the establishment of the Spill No Meeting Points. And these were safe havens where children could find refuge. There was a spectrum of sort of child-specific services, right? Humanitarian and medical aid, psychological support, educational classes. And as part of our voluntary initiative, we went a step further. So we actually provided our AC Events Enterprise app at no cost, which is a tool that we use to facilitate the organization and management of events across the technology landscape. But of course, in this example, these were crucial safe spaces. So our app sort of served as the backbone that ensured streamlined coordination of these services. So to make this tool accessible and user-friendly for organizers, the social workers and the parents that were seeking support for their children undertook this comprehensive localization effort. And the AC Enterprise app was actually translated into Ukrainian. So it ensured that the seamless communication and understanding was happening within the platform's functionalities. And we didn't stop there. So it's quite common for individuals, companies to need some level of customization. And we recognized that there were unique requirements of the Spill No Meeting Points project. And so we implemented several customizations to tailor the app to its specific needs. And this included the addition of features that allowed organizers to specify the number of children, their ages, and even provide things like contact details for parents. And so through this collaborative effort, we not only provided a technological solution, but we've actively contributed to empowering communities to support their children during these challenging times. And I think it's a testament to the impact that thoughtful technology can have on the ground, and that it does truly make a real difference in the lives of those who need it the most. So before we delve into the specifics, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge sort of the collective effort that's gone into making this initiative a reality. I think it's a true reflection of the power of collaboration and compassion and innovation. And in the upcoming slides, we're going to explore actually the tangible results and the lasting impact of the Spill No Meeting Points project. So stay with us. I see we've got even more people joining. Every time I look at the screen, there's more people in the room. We're going to talk about this noble cause. We're going to talk about sort of the positive ripples that extend far beyond the digital realm. So let's go into slide 9, please. I think I could just stop talking at this point and let you look at some of these statistics. It's really incredible. With the adoption of AC events, with the adoption of a stronger presence within Experience Cloud, the results speak for themselves. Over 11,000 events were organized across Ukraine. 19,000 individuals registered for these events, And we actually had a total of over 126,000 attendees. And I think this is an interesting statistic. Notice that the number of registrants is actually much lower than the total number of attendees. The reason for this was actually brought to my attention by Maryna, and I didn't know this through the whole project. But the reason for a lower number of registered attendees versus those who actually showed up, and I think Maryna is actually going to talk to us a little bit about this in a bit, was because some people were nervous to share their contact information, via a mobile app or via the internet. They were nervous that if they posted where their children were going to be, for example, that someone could perhaps find that information and that would be unsafe. So rather than registering, people would just take note of when the events were happening, where the meeting points were located, and they would bring their families to the events at the appropriate time, which made the number of attendees actually skyrocket compared to the number of those who registered. And to be clear, that information is very GDPR protected. Salesforce upholds very high GDPR standards. But I can understand the fear of being on the ground and being concerned about sharing that data. So that was an interesting insight for us. You'll notice we had over 40 events happening every single day, 2.5 plus thousand events happening weekly, and about 66 registrations per day. All right, next slide, please. Excellent. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you Maryna. Maryna is the project manager of the Ukrainian professional development team. And I asked her a couple of questions during our initial interviews around how this project impacted her personally. And Maryna said that personally, this project allowed her to feel useful to society in this challenging time. And before the war, she was actually involved in event management. And so her life was filled with this sort of active rhythm. She had lots of emotions around this and positivity. And when the full-scale war began, sort of all of that vanished overnight. So she pondered for a long time on how she could be useful. And in the initial months of the war, she felt poorly that she didn't fully understand how to transform her skills for the better. And so when she offered to join the Spilno team, she initially didn't grasp what it would entail, but she knew that it was something useful and something necessary. And so during visits to the various small communities where the Spilno locations were, she spoke with a lot of children and parents, and they shared stories of leaving dangerous areas under shelling, surviving deoccupation, or being forced to leave their homes and start life in completely unfamiliar communities. And so despite these challenges, parents mentioned that the project allowed their children to regain a bit of their childhood, to sort of continue educational pursuits and make new friends in new communities and reintegrate socially. And I think often we forget, because we're kind of moving out of this COVID time as well, but it was just as COVID restrictions were sort of lifting that this incident occurred. And so it continued the years of isolation for these wonderful people. And so looking for ways to integrate socially, reintegrate socially during a war was so impactful. I also asked Maryna how the project impacted her community. And she believes that the project had a tremendous and positive impact for both children and teenagers. The Spilno locations became an opportunity for online communication, offline communication, socioeconomic relief during the war, and a chance to sort of continue their education and acquire new skills. They also offered individual counseling with a psychologist, and this was particularly felt in the deoccupied communities, where as they opened their spaces, the children who initially were very closed and fearful gradually transformed. And so within 3 months, these children became unrecognizable. But they were more open, they were smiling, they were lively. And for the parents, the project was valuable because it provided a space for the children to engage and allowing more parents some respite. The project also offered a chance to involve various teachers and trainers and psychologists in their work, which was crucial because many people lost jobs or they couldn't continue their pre-war activities. I'd also like to introduce a key figure at the heart of our transformative work. We've got Anastasiia with us today. She's our esteemed project manager at Advanced Communities, and she's played a pivotal role in driving innovation and impact through our collaboration on the UNICEF Ukraine project in partnership with the UPD Fund. Anastasiia brings a wealth of experience and expertise to the table. She's got a background marked by passion for leveraging technology to address critical social challenges, and her commitment to creating meaningful solutions has been instrumental in shaping the success of our projects. Anastasiia has been at the forefront of our efforts in the UNICEF Ukraine project, and she has worked tirelessly to align our solutions with the unique needs of the community. So this initiative is more than a project. It's a commitment to making a lasting and positive impact. So let's hear from our panel. Julia, next slide, please. Maryna, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited that you're here and you're wearing your Ukrainian sweatshirt. I love it. Be sure to show it off. So I wanted to hear directly from you, dear, and if you could make sure that you're unmuted. What challenges or problems did you notice that these two teams were facing before you started working with us?
Hi, Rebecca. Thank you for inviting me to this webinar. Hi, everyone. Hi, guys. My name is Maryna. I was the project manager of the project Spilna Meeting Point, which was implemented by our NGO, Ukrainian Professional Development, with the support of the UNICEF and the Ministry of Youth and Sport Ukraine. The project Spilna Meeting Point by UNICEF and Ukrainian Professional Development involved establishing safe spaces where children could escape the stress of war and access a wide range of child-specific service, including essential humanitarian and medical assistance, psychological support, and educational classes. Our child-friendly spaces were created across 20 cities in Ukraine to provide social-emotional support for children affected by the war in Ukraine. From the first week of the war, Spilna Meeting Point were established at all Kharkiv metro station, like on this photo. Later, location opened door in many other cities of Ukraine, mainly in those that were temporary hubs during the evacuation of the citizens from eastern Ukraine to central and western Ukraine. Since the project was based mainly on paper documentation, our managers began to face problems in organizing and managing all activities across the country. We asked Advanced Community to develop an event management system that could centralize the organization and management of all Spilna Meeting Point events and activities in one place. It was also important for us that the platform provides centralized information about all activities for children that take place in different parts of Ukraine, so that every child has access to the necessary humanitarian, medical, educational, and psychological support. That was important for us to set up a systematic management of activities that could be conveniently managed. The problem we faced was that we needed to customize the registration process to collect personal information according to our needs. At the same time, follow the rules for collection personal information about minors. It was necessary for parents to be able to check activity schedules at location in real time. At the same time, the Advanced Community product was not designed for the use of open registration. We encountered difficulties in using the calendar. Due to the large number of events in the calendar, the plugin was constantly overloaded and nothing worked. But as a result of working with the Advanced Community event team, the technicians made the necessary changes and everything worked, for which we are very grateful.
Excellent. Thank you so much. You've brought such a wealth of knowledge to this project, and it's been a pleasure working with you. And I know Anastasiia feels the same way. And so we brought her today too as our project manager on the Advanced Communities side. I would like to ask you a question as well. So could you give us a bit of an overview, Anastasiia, about the specific services that we provided for the UNICEF and UPD project?
Yeah, sure, with pleasure. Thank you for introduction, Rebecca, and thank you, Maryna. It has been really a pleasure working with you and Ukrainian professional development team. So we started this project back in April 2022, and it was successfully implemented just within a span of 2 months. Given the full-scale invasion of Ukraine and acute emergency situation, it was important for us to go live with the build solution as soon as possible. So Advanced Communities team kicked off the work on Spilna Meeting Points project with gathering and assessing the project requirements. And once we analyzed all the needs and objectives, we moved to the solution design and development phase. We really had to act proactively, as I mentioned, due to the emergency situation. So our delivery team started with the installation and configuration of AC Events Enterprise product on the customer Salesforce environment. And thanks to the implementation of the required configurations, Ukrainian professional development and UNICEF teams are able to create events just within a couple of clicks with a predefined set of questions without the capacity restrictions. I also would like to mention that Advanced Communities translated all the product functionality from English to Ukrainian, ensuring that events could be used effectively by Ukrainian-speaking users. Our front-end developers also applied styling to the events functionality in order to align with the overall design of Ukrainian professional development community, maintaining a consistent visual experience. We also ensured that events work seamlessly on different types of devices, allowing users to access and participate in events from their preferred one. And our consultants also provided the training to the core team members of Spilna Meeting Points project team on how to effectively use AC Events Enterprise product, empowering them to manage events independently. It is also worth mentioning that during the first year after the project launch, Advanced Communities offered free consultancy services to the Ukrainian professional development and UNICEF project team, providing additional support and guidance as needed. By assisting the Spilna Meeting Points project in organizing events, Advanced Communities has become an integral part of its mission to provide socio-emotional support to Ukrainian children, enabling them to escape from the harsh realities of war and embrace their childhood. So it was really a great honor for our team to be involved in such a meaningful project.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And I mean, I think your testament and of course the on-screen, services that we provided are a testament to the amazing project that we did. One last question for Maryna, actually. Now that we've sort of talked about the implementation of the project and the services that we provided, could you give us some measurable results or sort of outcomes of the services that we provided?
Yeah, of course. In the meantime, I would like to share the general result of our project for the period March 2022, August 2023. We are proud that we were able to unite a team of more than 440 volunteers, trainers, and psychologists who worked with maximum enthusiasm. Thanks to this team, we were able to reach more than 100,000 participants, and together Together, we organized and held more than 11,000 events at 45 locations. Numerical results we have achieved thanks to the Salesforce platform. Our registration on site was more than 90,000, among them 66 per day. Unique visitors was 69,245 total, among them 55 per day, 40 plus events every day, and 66 registration a day. This indicator would be even higher if we did not face certain problems. Among them, the most significant is that due to the security situation in the Kharkiv region, we had a ban from the military administration on conducting information campaign regarding children's mass events, as well as publishing the schedule of our events on the internet in some communities of Kharkiv region. And also in the end, I want to say a huge thanks to advanced community from our organization and project team for supporting Spilno project that you gave as a free license to use your service, and also did a lot of work to customize the service for our needs. Your contribution to this project is a huge. Thank you a lot, guys, from Ukraine.
Oh, thank you as well. There's big love all around, if you can't tell in the room. We're very grateful for having worked with this team. So guys, that brings us to the end of our webinar, the end of our panel. I would like to now open up the room if anyone has any questions, any comments. I'm not sure, if I'm honest, I'm not sure how this works. I'm not sure if you're able to come off. Maybe you could raise your hand if you have a question and we can unmute you. You can also, it looks like the chat is now working, so you could maybe paste some questions in the chat. That would be great. We'll give it a minute here to see how this technology works today. Are we getting any feedback on our side? I can see maybe a Q&A here. How is AC Events licensed? Yeah, great question. So AC Events is licensed by a per seat model, which means based on the number of internal users within your Salesforce instance, if you have an events team, for example, a membership management team, marketing team, those individuals would need licenses, but really no one else within the organization. So we start at a package of about 10 base users. So out of the box, you're going to get 10 users that you can sort of allot to your team however you'd like. And those users can manage, manipulate, edit any of the object data within the AC Events product. Hope that answers the question. Do we have any others? And do we actually, I don't know, host team, if we have seen any feedback on if people are able to raise hands. Can you?
We have a question in a chat. Can you see?
Oh, I can see. Okay, so can you allow external people to create events? Great question. Absolutely, you can. So this is actually a unique feature to advanced communities. We actually allow for you to designate specific community members to create and manage their own events on the front end of Salesforce, meaning they don't need one of those licenses we were just talking about. They actually just need a user login or a community license in order to access the portal. And with permission, they can create their own events on the front end of Salesforce. So a good example of that would be perhaps with our Greenpeace project, right? So Greenpeace regional leaders are able to not necessarily see everything within CRM because they're not part of the Greenpeace organization on the back end. They are a volunteer, but they are organizing events for their region. And so they're able to log into the front of the portal, create an event, and invite the appropriate people to that event. Is it possible to translate your package to any language? Yes, there's a couple of options here. Salesforce Workbench is a great option because it really allows you to customize the language that you want to use when things like Google Translate are a bit ambiguous. So, but yes, there are a couple of options there, and we can translate the package to any language. Can we demo the AC app and how it works? That is an excellent question. Tell you what, in the follow-up, we will send you a high-level video of a demo overview. We've got that in our repertoire. We'll send that out to everybody who's attended or registered with us today. And if you'd like to see a more personalized demo, please feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to schedule a quick call with you. Another question, can we collect donations on events? The answer is yes, that is fabulous. We can collect donations on events as part of the event registration. So an example of this would be, I'm registering for an event and I say, the event says, would you like to add a donation? So whether my event is paid for or not, I have the option to add a donation to that event if you'd like to configure that as part of the registration process. Is your app fully native to Salesforce? It absolutely is. We are built right on force.com and we are built for Experience Cloud. Another one, can we host not only in-person events, but offline too? Yes, we sure can. We can host in-person events. We have a Google Maps integration, so you can actually just start typing the address that you'd like to host the event at, and it will pre-populate and a map will show up actually on the event registration page. And you can also do hybrid events where some people come in and some people are calling in, maybe via Zoom. We can also do fully remote events. So we have a Zoom integration, but you can also use any other streaming service URL. There's a special way you can do that, and we can show you how. Do you have any integration with payment services for paid events and donations? Yes, we sure do. We have an integration with Stripe and also with Spreedly. And if you're unfamiliar with Spreedly, it's a payment aggregator. And that aggregator encompasses about 120, 130 payment gateways. So if you're using any one of those, Spreedly has you covered. Stripe is also quite popular in the ecosystem. How many types of events are supposed to run, and is it customizable? So you can actually have as many types of events as you'd like. And I think this is an interesting question, especially for those who might not be as familiar with Salesforce. So I believe what you're asking is, are there ways to sort of customize the events that you're having? So perhaps you have a blend of virtual events, a blend of in-person events, maybe events that happen for an hour, or versus events that happen over a weekend, over a number of days. The answer to all of that is you can have an unlimited number of types of events. And I'm not sure if I'm totally understanding how many types of events are supposed to run. But is it customizable? The answer is yes. So, and actually, I don't know. Is it Sarab? I don't want to mispronounce your name. Are we able to unmute Sarab? I just want to make sure I'm answering the question well. Thank you for your comment, Igor. It was nice to have you.
Just a second.
And while you're doing that, can we categorize events somehow? Yes, so you can actually filter by category. You'll actually see that when we hop into the events demo. So on your follow-up email, you'll have a short video. It's like 3 or 4 minutes. But you can actually see how you can filter by categorization. So maybe you filter by region, you categorize by type, by style. Yeah, all of that is customizable. And I see you're unmuted. Hi, please tell me,
Yeah, hi.
Could you pronounce your name?
Hi. Yeah, it is correct. It's Saurabh. Yeah,
Saurabh,
you pronounce
nice
it
to
right.
meet you. Thank you
Nice to
for
meet you, and it was
being with
really a
us.
great. Yeah, it was really great webinar, and really appreciate the efforts taken by the advanced communities team, and especially the project team, Maryna and her team.
Thank you
So,
so much.
yeah, coming to my question. So basically, see, in Salesforce, there are multiple events. So I was wondering, is it only specific to this UNICEF project that is created for Ukraine? or is it customizable so that we can use it for some other applications as well?
Absolutely, it's customizable. Yeah, so this is just one example of the type of events that we held for this specific nonprofit. But we have customers from the commercial landscape, the education landscape, public sector, nonprofit, et cetera. So it is quite customizable. It's a fully fledged event management solution, and it allows you to create and manage virtual, hybrid, in-person events on the Salesforce platform.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Now just waiting for the demo.
Absolutely. We'll be sure to send that over to you, and we'd love to connect with you afterwards. Thank you for being here, and thanks for your question. All right, guys, I don't see any more questions. We will hang around for one more minute or so. Looks like
We have a few more questions in Q&A. You can.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. How flexible is the look and feel of AC events? Guessing you can brand and theme as per community site. The answer is yes. It is quite flexible. In fact, I think our bread and butter here at Advanced Communities is really our ability to enhance the user interface, design, front-end design. We're very good at branding and giving you sort of a comfortable look and feel within your Salesforce environment. What payment gateways are available? Yeah, so like we mentioned, it's actually Stripe or Spreedly. At the moment, we have integrations with both of those. And perhaps in the follow-up, maybe my marketing team who's listening in, if you could take note, let's also send the links to Stripe and Spreedly so that our listeners can understand sort of what those payment processors look like and those that are encompassed under Spreedly. Last question here. Do you accommodate sessions and tracks for conferences? Absolutely. So when you set up an event, you can actually determine if you'd like to have sessions within that event or tracks for conferences. So this could be a one-day event where you have 3 or 4 sessions, or it could be a multi-day event where you have 10 or 12 sessions per day. You can also have sessions that overlap with one another. So if you're in a conference center, for example, with multiple rooms, you could have sessions that all happen at the same time, but are happening in different rooms. And once you've registered for the event, you can actually go in and use our agenda builder to choose the sessions that you'd like to register for. And then those will show up under your profile, and you're able to actually see all of the sessions that you'd like to attend within the event. How does your package integrate with Zoom? Great question. I'm actually going to hand this one over to Anastasiia. She knows this much better than me. Sorry to put you on the spot.
Only from the project management side. Unfortunately, we don't have our product owner with us, but I know that it's the straightforward integration, and it's pretty easy to set up, to connect, let's say, your Salesforce environment and your Zoom account. You just need to provide us your Zoom credentials, and you will be able to start hosting the Zoom meetings and Zoom webinars immediately.
Exactly. All right. Do we have any further questions? Oh, I see Paul is answering too. Zoom is linked to the event, so the attendees are automated back into Salesforce. Yes, correct. Can we create different events for different audiences? Yes. Do we have any more questions? Give it 30 more seconds here. I joined late. Will we get a recording? Of course you will. You'll get a recording, and you'll get probably way more than you asked for as well. We'll be sure to send lots of assets to you. All right, guys. I'm going to close it out. Thank you so much for being here with us. You will receive a great big follow-up email from all of us here at AC and from Maryna as well. Thank you so much, Maryna, for joining us and for being a part of this project with us. It's been a pleasure working with you, and we look forward to hearing from all of you. Thank you so much for being here, and have a great afternoon.